Next topic on the Star Wars celebration was the Battlefront 2 trailer, which, and there's a lot more backstory to this too. What'd you guys think of the Battlefront 2 trailer?
We're finally getting the campaign.
We're getting a one-player campaign, a full story,
and a game that really deserves one.
Looked awesome though.
Yeah, and you were asking what happened after Episode 6.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Yep. What'd you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked awesome.
Yeah.
I remember.
I mean, if I wasn't already gonna buy a PS4, this cements it.
I remember when we were playing Battlefront when you first got that, and it just looks so real. It looks, and it's so much fun to play, to just pick up and play and have the fights and those thermal imploders and the Star Wars sounds and hearing the walkers come around and being on Endor and trying to get on top of an AT-AT. There was so much fun to play. And a lot of people were ticked off about there not being a one-player campaign. They've already announced, well, they just didn't have time to get it in to make it coincide with Force Awakens. But this one, not only is there going to be a full-fledged campaign, there is not going to be a season pass that you pay for. They want to make sure everybody gets to play with no differences in who paid for what packs that can't play in some of the other levels. But more importantly, the Lucasfilm story group actually did a whole huge story, and there's a novel coming out that actually coincides with the character that this is going to center around, who's basically like some of the Imperial commandos that were there on Endor when the Death Star 2 blew up. And when they were talking with Story Group, they were thinking, well, let's take a different tactic with this. Instead of just all the Imperials and the planets that are occupied by Imperial control were obviously oppressed. They were pushed there to be that way. Well, out of thousands of star systems, that can't be the case for all the planets. There's got to be lots of planets out there that maybe you came from a prominent family where you were excited about what the Empire was doing, and you went special forces and you're pumped for this, and then you see something like a travesty like the Death Star 2 blow up, but that actually doesn't hurt your resolve. It strengthens it even more, like, okay, let's go avenge our Emperor, and let's take it from one of that character perspective. So they actually pick up, or at least the novel does, a few years before we even get to Return of the Jedi, and seeing it from an Imperial point of view, I think is going to be really cool. What did you guys think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as the game goes, it's going to be exciting just to kind of see the environments. It's going to be about the gameplay, but again, like having this campaign and having it be based around this special forces commando for the Empire,
Inferno Squadron.
That's just going to be a lot of fun to play. Oh my god, that's going to be awesome.
I'm pumped for this and getting to see a lot more. I don't know how much more, but some about what happens between 6 and 7 to some extent. Maybe at least just the immediate aftermath after Return of the Jedi is going to be cool. But then they also showed that they've had so much time to put development into this. You're going to be able to play in segments from all time periods of the Star Wars saga. So the prequels, the main trilogy, and the sequel trilogy. They showed scenes of fighting on, or at least art, fighting on Kamino with clones. That would be awesome. Darth Maul, playing as Darth Maul. They had a little glimpse of Darth Maul with his double-bladed light sword, and then all of a sudden you see a lightsaber pick up and you see it was Yoda. So it looks like you're going to get to play as Yoda. That's going to be really cool. But knowing that we get to play through these time periods throughout the Star Wars sagas, what stuff that would you guys like to see in this new Battlefront? Like if we could play a Battlefront game and we're all playing online together, which areas would you love to see that we could play? I mean, there's the obvious ones, a Hoth or on Endor, but what other areas would you guys love to see that we could actually play a Star Wars Battlefront game together?
Well, I'd like to see a boarding party onto like one of the Rebel capital ships. I mean,
that would be cool
because we saw when we didn't even really see it, but at end of Rogue One, where Vader actually takes his boarding party aboard.
Yeah,
but
that would be awesome.
Like that.
We got to hurry up and get them before they get the plans away.
Yeah,
and play from the Empire side,
or just anything like that. Yeah. Like we need before everybody escapes in escape pods, but I mean having that dynamic environment of like essentially kind of moving throughout the ship and trying to take control of certain, like, well, all right, we got to engineering, what kind of bonus are our guys going to get now? All right, well, we got the reactor core, what can we do with this?
Can you imagine playing when Vader's crew actually boards the Tantive? I hear different ways of phrasing it. Officially at Lucasfilm they said the Tantive V, but I thought it was the Tantive IV, which is the Roman numeral for 4, but you know what I mean, the original blockade runner that they board in A New Hope. Wouldn't that be cool to play that as you're boarding it, trying to kill as many rebels as possible?
On the flip side, we're changing the entire Star Wars storyline because we saved the ship. We stopped Vader.
Game over.
Vader's wasting through people, but we have to concede. Sorry, dude, we lost this one. They killed more of our guys than we did in this round.
And
so
we only had 15 minutes.
Yep.
So we gotta go.
What would you like to see, Matt? Where would you love to have like a battle in the Star Wars mythology?
I don't know. I mean, I've had such limited contact with the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Hoth always.
Yep.
Would be awesome.
They'll definitely have Hoth.
I don't know about Endor. I'm not real big on the speeders.
That was fun. I mean, even if not the speeders, just like going through the trees and hunting out in the leaves and going to kill each other and stuff. That was in the first Battlefront.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Mm.
Yeah. It's tough because I've played a lot of Call of Duty.
Yep.
and every environment has its goods and bads.
Mm-hmm. They did say we're gonna get to play as Kylo Ren, so I'm assuming there'll be something on Starkiller Base.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe what's the planet with Maz Kanata's bar that they go and invade? That'd be cool to be there for that battle before the X-wings come.
Yeah. I guess I'm more of a Rebels person. If I picked it up right now, I would go.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go with the Rebels. I wouldn't go with the Empire.
Well, no, I mean, you can pick whatever faction you want to go from. I'm just talking about locations. Where would you like to play a first-person shooter in all these landscapes?
Well, I mean, apart from a first-person shooter, I'd actually like to have some time in the cockpit of like an X-wing.
They are going to have space
or
battles
something
and stuff.
like
You
that.
can do that
I mean,
too.
that stuff would be. That would just be a nice compliment to it.
Yeah, the scenes that they showed of the space battles look epic, fighting up against Star Destroyers, and we did a little bit of that even in Rogue Squadron on Nintendo 64 and GameCube back in college, and those were fun. But imagine with the technology we have now, how much more fun that would be.
Did you do any of the ship stuff in Battlefront, the first one?
I'm trying to. It was pretty much stuff that was just hovering on the ground, right? I mean, there wasn't anything in space.
Not in space, no. But you could get like into an A-wing and this.
Getting into an AT-AT or getting into an X-wing fighter, getting into a TIE fighter, absolutely. But I think that they'll definitely be taking it to the next level when you're actually in a full-fledged space battle.
Yeah.
It's also kind of interesting to think about is where should they really not put battles that would just be fun to do? Like, it'd be cool. We're gonna do it on the dunes of Tatooine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fucking boring as hell. All you do, here you go, just one more dune. No, you said that 3 dunes ago. I can't.
Just avoiding sand people.
Yeah.
Pod racing. They're gonna add pod racing to Battlefront.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
you're chasing a mirage in the distance.
Yep, and I'm sure we'll get some new planets.
Jawa.
They already said since it's going to be from all eras, we know we'll get some planets from the new trilogy, and I'm sure because with the lead up time and finishing pre-production for the movie, they'll probably have, and again, they said no season pass, so when they do DLC, which I'm sure they will, it'll be free, but downloading maps from the movies that are going to be in 8 that we haven't even seen yet, so they don't spoil that. Like they had Jakku for the first Battlefront, which was cool.
Yeah.
Watching Star Destroyers come down in the background and they look real and life-size and crashing, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a really fun. We battled on that level all the time. But I don't know what other.
Well, I mean, I guess thinking about it, like from Rogue.
Scarif.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scarif would be awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then even fighting through the streets in the Jedi Temple and stuff like that, just the remains
Coruscant
of it.
battle.
I mean, that would be good urban warfare.
Yeah, Coruscant would be interesting. I'm just trying to think how would you do that? I mean, are the rebels stupid enough to invade the Coruscant, the giant city planet? It's possible.
It's a resistance movement. Again, they could frame it however they want.
Jeddah would be cool. Getting to see some actual old school Jedi temples, the Guardians of the Wills and stuff would be really cool. I'm pumped to see Kamino. Getting to fight on Kamino, and you know that you'll be able to play as Boba Fett and reenact some of that stuff would be really cool. Mandalore would be awesome. What other stuff was there? Mustafar,
Korriban, Morban.
Mustafar would be fun if only to see the scenery.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Yeah, with Mustafar, that'd be a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so when I think of the colors.
Yeah.
The lava and the black. I mean, I just don't know. You're gonna have to be fighting inside.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd like to see Christophsis.
Where's Christophsis?
That's from the Clone Wars. Do you remember where Obi-Wan and Anakin first met Ahsoka?
Oh yeah, where they were scaling the. No, I'm thinking of something else. Was that the one where they were climbing? With the walkers were going up the mountain.
No, it was kind of like more of like an abandoned city.
God, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember.
Need to
that
rewatch
one.
That's the one where they were having to move the cannons, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they had the shield.
Yep.
It'd be cool
Yeah,
to see.
it was like a droid city.
Well, they've more or less taken over, but they were kind of moving in. Really, no recollection.
I'm sure if I saw it, I would remember right away. It's been.
I remember the episode you're talking about. I remember, or the episodes that you're talking
See,
about.
the fact that Matt remembers and I don't just depresses me.
For shame.
Well, I just watched them. These were one of the ones you told me to watch.
Yeah, that's very possible. This is just going to be. I'm just pumped that they're going to have a great one-player campaign. Because even with the lack of it, even doing the whatever they call them, extra training missions or whatever, that's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not as fun as when you're doing the playing with your friends with this. I've done a lot of Call of Duty too. It can be fun. It's more fun when you're playing with your friends. Star Wars Battlefront's just fun to play regardless, just because it's frickin' Star Wars. And seeing the locations, fighting on Tatooine was awesome. I keep thinking about that Jedha battle or Jakku battle from the original Battlefront, but that's cool. Well, can you guys think of anything else cool you'd like to see in Battlefront 2? We know we get to play as Kylo. Can't wait to do that. Just go unhinged on everybody.
I'd like to see how hard it is to shoot my blaster as a stormtrooper, because they seem to miss all the time in the movies.
Yeah. You're gonna be the one
So,
good
if
one.
all of a sudden you just get like two little things you're looking through.
Yo, yeah. Your view is based on
All
what
of
you
a sudden
actually
you're like,
could
what the
actually see
hell?
through the helmet.
You know what's funny? They kind of address that in Rebels too. They talk about how the clones were expertly trained, and when
They had better gear too.
they had way better gear. Filoni even talked about it. He goes, or maybe it was Filoni or Pablo Hidalgo, that the Emperor first tries with droids in Phantom Menace. That's not going to work. Jedi cut through them like butter, so we're going to need people. So he comes up with clones. Let's insert the chip so I can control them. Let's make sure that they're more docile, easier to control. But then what they found throughout the years of the Clone Wars is because of the Jedi influence, it promotes individuality, which is exactly what he did not want. Hence the Stormtroopers, where they're much more human-only, very indoctrinated. I forgot what my point was.
Probably disposable too.
It's very but also overwhelmed with numbers as opposed to the higher cost it take to have this expert training, better armor, all that type of stuff. So like even in Rebels, when you've got Captain Rex and he's like, this armor is terrible compared to what we used to wear as the clones. What is this crap? Or he's like,
I hope I'm just chucking the helmet.
yeah, he's like, this is terrible. And he's like, I hope you brought a better class of warrior than those stormtroopers, because they're just not even in comparison to what the clone troopers used to be. So that's just really cool to see how that, there's a reason for all this. Yes, the stormtroopers aren't as good, but again, when you're behind the controller, then you can be a badass. Then it's not. You can't fucking blame shitty equipment or not the low visibility of the helmet when you're holding a PlayStation 4 controller, dude. So you got to own that shit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you thought of the Battlefront 2 trailer. Are you pumped for this game? Because we are jacked. This is going to be awesome. We'll have to do some kind of Let's Plays for that. We always say that we haven't done any Let's Plays yet. We will at some point in the future, in 2031, whatever it is. Eventually we will. But let us know what you think
It's oddly specific.
From Mars.
in the comments below.